Hi, my name is Cornelia and welcome to my book corner where I talk to you about books or series that I recently read. Today's series is called My Paranormal Girlfriends by Tate. And this is the first book, Vampire Bodyguards. Okay, male main character is Reese. Female main characters are Soraya, Margot, Katie. Those are the ones that, and Trina, kind of. Okay, those are the ones that kind of matter. Getting into it. Okay, boom. Reese is a college graduate. He graduated with a major in theology. He also is now a tattoo artist. He has his own tattoo shop. Okay, he has a house. He had an ex-wife named Trina. They were married or together for 4 years, but she ended up not being his thing. He felt like she was draining him. That comes into play a little bit later in the book, and he just couldn't take it no more, so they got divorced. She takes half his money, so he's still trying to live as best as he can. Bills are piling up, right? Anyways, after closing down the shop, it's raining real bad. He takes him and his dog. He has a Chihuahua named Lemmy. Keep the Chihuahua in mind. The Chihuahua is also a main character. Anyways, it's raining real bad. They get back to the house and he goes to bed eventually. There's a knock at his door late at night. He's looking at the time like, The only time motherfuckers are knocking at my door is if they trying to steal or if they trying to kill. Okay, period. But he eventually goes downstairs, open it. It's a girl. Black hair, black eyes, wearing goth clothes, I guess. That's what they kind of was saying. But anyways, and he was like, oh, she's cute. She says, can you let me in? He's like, sure, why not? At first he was like, hell nah, but then he was like, sure, why not? He lets her in. Her name is Margot. She says, my name is Margot. The T is silent. And he said, hi, Margot, with the silent T. My name is Reese. So he's like, I have a guest bedroom. Here's the guest bedroom. He goes to his room. He ends up going to sleep. He wakes up the next day. Margot is gone. So he's like, I bet. He goes back to the tattoo shop. He does what he had to do, get back to the house. And no, I'm lying. Before he gets to the tattoo shop, Margot pops it up. He takes it to the tattoo shop. Katie, who's his receptionist, didn't come in yet. So he asked Margot if she could be the receptionist. She's like, I bet. Everybody seems to be liking her. Everything is going smoothly. It was a very busy day. Katie comes in late. He's like, chill. He's like, Katie, what the fuck? And she's like, my bad, I'm not gonna do it again. He's like, this is your third time in a week. She's like, I'm real sorry. Anyways, Katie and Margot ends up getting along. At the end, when everything is done, he takes Margot back to the room, show her room. She look a little bit disappointed, but hello, he don't know you like that. He wants to take you down bad, but he don't know you like that. Anyways, eventually she asks him, hey, you want to go out to drink after? I think this was another time she met with him. He left and then she met with him again, and she was like, hey, you want to get a drink after work? He's like, sure, why the fuck not? She takes him to the bar that's supposed to be next door that he ain't even know was next door because he ain't seen it before, and they drink or whatever. In his head, he's like, he want to hunch on her in front of everybody. They eventually get back to the house, right? And he's still thinking about how he want to fuck with him. And she's like, oh, let's go into the basement or something. Let's go get something to drink. Anyways, long story short, they end up going back to the bar via his basement door. He's like, how the fuck does this go on? Like, how's this happening, right? He hunches her in front of everybody in the bar. Okay, boom. They come back in the house. He tells her basically, you could go back to the guest room or something like that. Anyways, long story short, the next day, boom, Margot tells her, oh, I want you to meet my friend Soraya. They get back to the store. Well, he goes to the tattoo shop. Katie is late. Margot walks in with her friend Soraya. They're like, oh wow, that's crazy. He asks, and then after they're having this conversation, Katie comes in with a black eye. Margot's like, bitch, what the fuck is going on? And she's basically like, she walks into the door. Margot was like, oh hell no, right? So she goes to whoever Katie was hunching on, and yeah. And so Soraya went to Katie home. It was a whole thing. He gets back to the house after he shuts down the tattoo shop. And Soraya is like, hey, he's sleeping. Margot comes in. She's like, I handle him. Then they have a conversation. Margot and Soraya have a conversation, because throughout all of this, Margot is like acting like she's having a conversation with Lemmy and laughing at something Lemmy is talking about. So Margot and Soraya is talking and having an argument about telling him something. So basically Margot was like, okay, bet your daddy is very famous and rich, and he's a mayor and all this and that, and they're telling him all this and that, and he's looking at them like, my daddy is a damn accountant type shit. Like, that's not, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, my mama and my daddy, like, they've been married, they live like 3 blocks away, blah blah blah. They're like, that's not your parents. So anyway, he called his parents and he's like, am I adopted? They're like, yeah, you adopted. And he's like, why would you ever tell me that? And they was like, because we didn't think we needed to tell you, like, it doesn't even really matter, right? He comes to find out his father is a fallen angel, right? His real father, right? So he's like, when do I get to meet my dad? Like, what the fuck is going on? So they're like, oh, you can go back to the bar. So he's like, how am I get there? They said to the basement door. So he goes to the basement door, opens the basement door, and there he meets his father, the fallen angel. And he basically was like, who's my mama? And he's like, your mama was a hooker who died and she went to hell, and she decided she wanted to stay in hell, and she just wanted to tell you that she loved you, she just can't raise you, shit like that, right? So he's like, I bet. He was like, so I don't get no gifts from you or nothing like that. And he's like, okay, I got you a gift. He goes back upstairs. Katie's still sleeping, right? Because Soraya put her to sleep, helped her out, and they go upstairs. Oh, he also asks them who they are. They tell him that they're vampires. Trina is actually a succubus who was sent to him from an enemy of his father's, and that explains why he was tired and carried on throughout the whole relationship. And every single time she would try to come back to try to get back into his graces, and he would be like, hell no, right? So anyways, they go upstairs, they start hunching, they ask him if they could taste his blood. He's like, sure. Come to find out, the only thing his father gave him was a bigger dick. Crazy work, right? Because his father was a hoe, or is a hoe. So so anyways, push comes to shove, next day, Margot and Soraya had went back home, and Katie, the next morning he wakes up, afternoon he wakes up, Katie's in the kitchen drinking something, and Trina's knocking on the door. So he opens the door to Trina. She's like, let me in. He lets her in. She sees Katie. She's like, you fucking Katie. He's like, mind your fucking business type shit. And then he finds out also when he has a conversation with his father, Lemmy, his father that's a fallen angel, Lemmy is actually Cerberus in disguise, right? So anyways, Trina, buffs up into who she really is, and then he's like, where the fuck is Margot and Soraya? They're supposed to be my bodyguards, right? Sent by my dad. And so they finally pull up with a big ass sword. So he's like, what the fuck we finna do with that? So Margot tells him, okay, you was dealing with her, so you're the one that's gonna have to chop off her head. So he chops off Miss Girl's head, Trina's head. She's a succubus at the time. She's no longer Trina. So he chops off her head. She turns into dust. Dust gets blown away. He's like, holy shit. Well, throughout all this, Katie ends up getting hurt. Marco has to then turn her. And I think after this he meets his father and another fallen angel, and they tell him, you are going to be used as bait, and I'm also going to send somebody else, and you also might have a gift. So now we're moving on to book 2. Okay, book 2 is called My Goddess Girlfriend. I don't think there's a lot of pages in this book. It is not. It is very much given quick read. I thought it was more pages in these books, but whatever. The second book, he is after he had to kill Trina, and he's feeling bad about that. Katie is going through her transition, and she's trying to not only trying to eat him but also hunch him. Okay, anyways, he's gotten somebody else to be the receptionist while Soraya, and Margot take care of Katie. The new girl name is Corey. Okay, he's not interested in her at the fuck all. Now he's thinking, he would take down Katie because he kind of like her, so it wouldn't even be an issue for him. But she's going through her transition right now. Anyways, his father sent somebody else. This one is a goddess. I believe she's a deity, and she was sent to watch him during the day while Margot and Soraya are resting. He also renovated the basement so that Soraya, Margot, and Katie could rest down there, and they're closer to him. Soraya tells him that she used to be a priestess at the new goddess whose name is Aurora. Aurora is basically Eos or something like that, and Soraya used to be a priestess at one of her temples. And so Soraya was telling him about that, blah blah blah. When he met Aurora, he basically told Aurora about Soraya, and she's like, oh, I want to meet her, yada yada yada. He takes her downstairs to see Soraya, but they're still sleeping, they're not up yet. And then Margot already told him, don't come down there while we're sleeping, because sometimes we can attack when we are woken up too quickly or something like that. So he goes down there, something goes awry, and then Soraya ends up taking some of Aurora's blood, and now she's out for the count for a little bit, right? Anyways, long story short, so Aurora told him, oh, I need you to hunch me, I need you to come to feel better. He already knows it's a lie, but he's like, fuck, I'm gonna go with it, because he already found her attractive and he knows she's a liar. And he hunched on her, and then she was like, I just wanted to fuck you, like I didn't really need you to come. And then he told us to get the fuck out of there, and then he's mad at himself. And then Lemmy, aka Cerebus, is looking at him like, nigga, just be happy you got some pussy and shut the fuck up. Anyways, he's at his store, whatever, his shop, and Margot pulls up. He ends up punching her in the office. Mike, I think his name's Mike or Mark, that's his assistant, walks in, did knock on the door, finds them cuddled all up after hunching, and he's acting like he's sorry and carrying on. Mike and Corey, I feel like is finna be a thing. Yeah. And then Cyrus is Soraya's what's it called, the person, her maker, and he's a little off. He's not a little bit off, he's very off, and he had her as his pet basically, and he found her and he was causing an issue, so he had to be put down. Old boy put his ass down real quick, and his father was like, I'm proud of you. That sword I had when I went to battle with God and the other angels and carrying on. And then at the end, his father was like, you want to meet your mama? And yeah, that's where we're going to be at next. Let's move on to book 3. Okay, the third book is called My Untimely Demise. In this book, the other fallen angel name is Enoch. His father name is Belial, I think. Enoch told him that he thinks his father had grown soft, but also he thinks his father knew about the whole enemy thing coming after him for millennia, and he didn't do anything. He also finds out that the reason why this enemy is coming after him is because his father up in heaven was doing some shit he shouldn't have did and let the enemy take the blame. He was then casted out of God's sight, and he was upset. So he's coming after Belial and everything that he loves. And Enoch told him, listen, nigga, your daddy is lying to you. He knew exactly who you was because he went out looking for a bitch that was stronger than him, and he could have a strong offspring. So don't believe that your daddy don't know who the fuck your mama is, which is probably why his mama can't talk to him, because Belial made sure that bitch can't say shit that's gonna get him in trouble. And he knows that once he comes to Earth, like, he's weak and he's probably gonna die. And then Soraya is still sick. He hunched on Katie. Katie tried to kill him. Margot had to take her back downstairs because she wasn't ready to be in his presence. Aurora said sorry. They went on a cute date. The enemy, I forgot the enemy's name, but the enemy popped up, and he decided, and Aurora was able to hold him off, tell him to go get the sword. He got the sword. The sword said something else. He's like, this is crazy. He went running after the enemy. The enemy then pushes his ass off a cliff. That was book 3. Now I don't know if there's a book 4. Let's see. There is a big book 4. We finna read it. Okay, now we are into the 4th book, My Fairy Godmother. He wakes up, he thinks they're telling him, well, he sees his ex-wife. His ex-wife name is, I forgot the ex-wife name, child. Hold on. Trina. So the ex-wife Trina is at the hospital with him. She says he was in a motorcycle accident. He's like, nah, that don't sound right. In his head, it was like, nah. In his head, he was like, nah, that ain't happening. And then the doctor came in. He started realizing that the doctor ain't fucking a real doctor. Then he tells the doctor, like, this is not the real reality. He then realizes that the doctor is actually his daddy Bilal, and he was telling him, like, you supposed to be helping me. And Bilal was basically making it seem like he didn't know who he was. And he basically realized that he was on his own and that he had to do whatever he needed to do. They put him basically in one of them padded rooms. He got busted out of the padded room by this lady. The lady, I forgot the name. I forgot her name. I think her name is Lissa or some shit like that. She's like, we gonna get out of here. You're a fae. You're half fae. You half angel, and I'm a fae. And he was like, I'm a fae. She's like, basically, nigga, like, you asking too many questions. Let's the fuck go. Lysander, who is the enemy of his father, Lysander is out here. He's resetting your reality. And once he realizes that you are not in it, or he hears you moving, he's gonna wake up and do what he gotta do. So we gotta get the fuck. So they get the fuck. He ends up in Nassar, which is Feyland for him. He finds out that his mama was actually supposed to be queen because his grandfather was the king, but the grandfather died because some sickness came in and killed all the men. And then he realized that he was gonna be the king. They told him he had a harem waiting for him. He ended up hunching on two of the girls, even though he didn't want to, because he got Margot and the other one, I forgot her name already, and Katie, even though he ain't hunched on her yet, right? Boom. So then he's getting trained. One of the priestesses or whoever she was doesn't really like him, but towards the end of the book, they hunched, and now she somewhat respects him. And he got word back about what's going on with his actual parents, what's going on with Margot and Sahara, whatever the fuck, and what's going on with Lemmy and Aurora. And they told him, like, Lemmy and Aurora was together, and Margot and the other, and Shahira, whatever the fuck, is with the Vampire Society, basically captive. So he's like, I gotta go back and get my bitches. They're like, I bet, I'm gonna go with you. Anyways, long story short, at the end of the book, he finds out that he got a son. Who's the baby mama? We don't know yet. It just stopped off at a cliffhanger. Now, this book is only, they say it's 180 pages. This is all a quick read type of book series. I'm just going to give you like that. There's supposed to be another book. I don't know when it comes out. I can't tell you. But this whole series is giving quick read. All right? Anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this review. It went very, very quick. I did not tell y'all everything. So go ahead and read the series if you're interested, and then come back and tell me what you thought of it. If you have read it, baby, comment down below and tell me what you thought of it. Okay? Now, if you could like, comment, and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Okay, bye.